Glad we got this job.
Why?
Because I want to see this kid up close.
Why?
Test my self-control. See if I can keep from putting my hands around his throat, squeezing until her eyes pop out.
Don't give me a hard time.
Yeah. I assume you have some reason for being here.
I was not aware that you'd been given the authority to reassign cases.
Arthur and I talked about it yesterday, and we decided that this case would be better handled by a non-Jew.
Excuse me?
You remember, Arthur, since the victim was Jewish, we don't want to feed the perception that we're persecuting the defendant. Chris Lorky may be a murderer, but he's just a boy.
I remember what you said, and I remember I disagreed. I do not assign cases based on religion, and I will not have my authority usurped by you or by anyone else in this office. Is that clear?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Arthur, I misunderstood.
If Tess needs help with her caseload, you'll hear about it. In the meantime, you know which cases are yours. Unbelievable.
Are you going to try this boy as a juvenile or as an adult?
That's up to the family court judge.
Well, only if you present him with a choice.
Have you decided?
I haven't even met with the defendant and his lawyer yet.
What's to decide? You got a little brown shirt who poured a can of gasoline on a Hasidic Jew and then tossed a lit match on him.
While the guy's wife and family looked on, and then he spray painted one less Jew on the sidewalk next to the body.
The press is all over this, and they want to know why you haven't caught the other two boys, the accomplices.
I just got this case, Arthur. I'm following procedure as fast as I can.
There are a lot of Jews in the 9th Ward, and they all want Chris Lorky's blood. And they all vote, too.
Maybe we should just put the case on the ballot. And then the next day after the election, we'll have a public hanging.
We'll discuss this after you see what you've got.
Bruce Kaufman is mine. By the time I'm through with him, I wish he kept his greedy hands in his own pockets.
Yeah? Well, who's defending him?
What difference does it make? I'm gonna mop up the courtroom floor with him.
If you're acquitted, will Douglas and Barr give you your old job back?
I don't know. I hope so.
If you go out on your own, will any of your clients go with you?
What does this have to do with the strategy for my case?
Strategy? This isn't about strategy. This is about whether or not you can afford my fees.
I'll get the money.
By dipping into someone else's trust fund.
I told you I'm not guilty.
All of my clients are not guilty, Mr. Kaufman.
Please, Bruce.
And all of them pay me to try to convince a jury of that.
It's 3:30. No wonder I am so hungry. You know, they say that you should always eat your meals at regular times. Otherwise, you can mess up your whole system. I swear, I will never talk with my mouth full again.
Thank you.
Well, hello. You did a fine job with the Buckley case, Miss Kaufman.
Thank you.
I like to argue cases in your courtroom, Judge Booth. You're always fair.
Well, I think that's in the job description. Although I don't think Buckley would agree with you. He didn't seem to think that 25 to life was too fair to him. I understand you've drawn the Lorca case.
Yes.
You gonna try it in family court?
I don't know yet.
Interesting case. Good luck.
No. Everybody is sure interested. Sorry. Everybody is sure interested in whether or not Chris Lorky is going to be tried as an adult.
I can't answer that at this time because the decision has not yet been made. I can tell you, I can assure you, the district attorney's office takes a very serious view of anti-Semitic violence.
What's so tough about it, huh? If that little Nazi is old enough to murder a Jew, he's old enough to pay for it!
I assure you, the district attorney's office will prosecute this case vigorously and expeditiously.
I'm hearing a lot of assuring that doesn't mean a damn thing. What I haven't heard is a single reason why we should vote for you.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Fisher.
Mr. Fisher? I haven't made myself clear. Let me rectify that. I will do everything in my power to see to it that Chris Lorky is tried as an adult. The heinous nature of the crime demands no less. Justice demands no less. I demand no less.
That's right. That's right. That's action.
According to the police report, the victim's wife, the victim's widow identified you in a police lineup.
My client isn't here to answer questions, Miss
You're
Cobb.
Jewish, aren't you?
And why is he here?
He's here for the same reason I am, to make sure he's not railroaded.
Your son is in no danger of being railroaded, Mr. Lorky. Lynched, maybe.
The fact that my son is accused of a crime that offends you doesn't mean you get to frighten him. He's just a boy, for God's sake. Take a look at him.
The crime doesn't offend you. It's okay to kill people who are different than you.
Are you blind? I mean, don't you see what these Jews are doing?
Yeah. One of them is trying to make sure that you get what's coming to you. And the other one is trying to make sure that you don't.
You know, while you sit there and mock, they're laying out plans to exterminate us.
Chris,
if we don't stick together against these dark-skinned, hook-nosed tribes, you and I are gonna drown in the river of our own blood. We'll be driven from the face of this earth, and there'll be nothing left to show that the white Christians ever existed. These Jews, they're Satan's handiwork, his minions, his advanced troops. And if we fail to defeat them, we will answer to God with our own mortal souls.
Because I couldn't keep up. I mean, he wasn't saying anything. He was just ranting and raving about Jews. I think he even got in a dig at black people. I don't know. Hard to tell.
Hey,
He was spouting what his father had taught him. Wonder how long he would have gone on if they hadn't shut him up.
Forever. Karl Lorky's organization preaches hate. His heroes are Adolf Hitler and Joseph Mengele. He incites violence.
And he stands back and lets his kid do his dirty work.
His son and his two friends, have the police caught up with them yet?
No.
Well, there's a lot of free-floating anger out there. We might be able to diffuse it if we move quickly.
The arraignment's tomorrow. That fast enough for you?
In family court.
yes.
Get it moved. I want this case tried in adult court.
Oh, you see those votes slipping away, don't you?
You know, I would have thought you would agree with me on this one.
I do. I just don't like your reasons.
Oh, right. So, what do you have?
I have the witness ID. I have the arrest report. I have the defendant's prior record, and I have his probation report.
Have you talked to the victim's widow?
Nope, tomorrow morning. Are you ordering me to ask for an adult adjudication?
Don't tell me that you think the sentence he would get from family court would be adequate punishment for what he did.
What I think is that the widow should be allowed to kill him as slowly and as painfully as she pleases. But that's why we have laws. To curb our thirst for vengeance and to make it possible for us to maintain at least the illusion of civilization.
I believe you're getting cynical, Tess.
So I finally get through to the alderman's office. I state the nature of my complaint. This person who answered the phone, person with the brain of a kumquat, I might add, puts me on hold. Once again, I'm on hold, finally. I went out, I got in my car, I drove over to the alderman's office, and this person who answered the phone is sitting there, filing her nails, talking to her boyfriend on the phone. She didn't look up even when I cut my throat with
Hey, yourself.
Blair.
Do you want a beer?
Yep. How much has he had to drink?
I haven't been counting.
Maybe you should. You driving?
Do you ever go off duty?
Hey, hello, cop.
Professor.
Another drink delivered by your beautiful hand would make my heart sing.
Wow. You sure do tone up the place, Weldon. Most people just say, give me a beer, will you?
Verbosity is the refuge of those who have nothing original to say.
That a quote?
Hey, Weldon,
Yeah,
your game.
keep them coming.
There were 3 of them. They stood down there on the sidewalk shouting terrible things. And then they started to throw rocks through the windows. And Isaac went downstairs to talk to them. I watched from that window.
I have the police report, Mrs. Seidenberg. I don't need for you to go over the details right now. I just want to make sure that you're willing to testify.
Yes. Even if I didn't want to, I'm obligated under Jewish law to do so. You understand. I can't take an oath in the courtroom.
Yes. There are provisions for religious objections to oath-taking.
Have you found those other 2 boys?
No? Police are still looking for them. You told the police you didn't think that you could identify them.
They were never in the light. I never saw their faces.
Weird. Why was I there? She never even looked at me. Not allowed to look at me? Why?
Because you're a man.
Yeah. So? Why would she be uncomfortable with you? You're both women. You're both Jewish. Who cares? Maybe you don't agree with the way she lives her life either, huh?
Mad about something?
She thinks women should be allowed to make their own decisions on their own lives.
As do we all. The mayor's office is getting a lot of phone calls about the Lorky case.
I'm going to ask Judge Anderson to remove the case to adult court.
Good.
Let's go, Arthur. We're running late.
Judge Anderson, it's almost unprecedented that a minor this young would be subject to adult adjudication.
The crime he's accused of committing is so depraved, Your Honor, that the people feel justice will be best served by trying him in circuit court.
I would ask the court to consider the fact that the DA's office is operating with a political agenda in this case. Ms. Kaufman's immediate superior is running for elective office in a heavily Jewish ward.
Your Honor, my only agenda is to place this matter before a jury. If the jury finds the defendant not guilty, then the venue won't matter. If the jury finds the defendant, Mr. Lorky, did in fact commit this horrible crime, I think the sentencing options available in adult court are appropriate.
Without prejudice to the defendant, a hearing is set for 9 a.m. tomorrow.
You know what I don't get? I don't get why a Jewish lawyer would defend this kid. And don't give me that crap about how everybody's entitled to an adequate defense.
Why not? It's true.
Lawyers are allowed to turn down cases they don't want. Why didn't he? I'm going down to Carl Lorky's headquarters. See what I can find out about the other two boys. May I help you?
Yeah.
I'm curious about what you do here.
Well, we try to educate people about the direction that society is moving in.
I guess your target audience is white people?
Well, you and I know it's white people who are in danger of extinction. If they can't beat us this way, they're going to breed us out of existence.
They? Hey, what's your name? Billy. How long you been a member, Billy?
Just see what you think.
Nice book, Uber alles.
Nice folk, Uber alles.
Did this man identify himself as a police officer?
We were having so much fun, it slipped my mind.
This is private property.
Well, it looks open to the public to me. White public, anyway. Am I white enough for you?
What is it with people like you, huh? I mean, you see the same things we see. Civilization being mongrelized out of existence, and you just go about your business? Better wake up.
I guarantee we don't see the same things, Lorky. Where were you on the night Isaac Seidenberg got murdered?
Billy, run across the street, get me a cup of coffee, will you please? There is nothing for you here. Leave my people alone.
Too late for that, Carl. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me.
You should read that.
Nah. I've read enough. And you should check that second paragraph. I think there are two E's in Sheeny. Wouldn't want you to seem illiterate.
Brought you daisies at this time, Zach. Nobody else brings daisies. I still miss you, kiddo.
you came here, Joe.
He was my son, too.
You always hated cemeteries so much.
Well, they keep it looking really nice. If we treated the living as well as we treat the dead, the world might actually seem bearable. I visit Zach every year, on his birthday and on the day he died.
I've never seen you there before.
I've seen you. I always waited until you were gone.
Why?
I knew you wouldn't approve of what I was doing with my life.
Would it have mattered, Joe?
Probably not. But we might have talked, like we're doing now. You might have wanted us to be friends. You might have wanted to meet my husband, and I didn't want you to.
Why not?
Because you would have told me what a jerk he was, and I didn't want to hear it.
You're divorced now?
Yeah. And you? Did you remarry? You think we could have made it if we hadn't have been so young? I mean, if Zach hadn't died?
I don't know.
No, I didn't send it. No card?
No.
You want me to put it in water?
I want to know who sent it to me.
You don't want it?
No. I'm going home.
I know. 9 a.m. sharp. Family court. I'll be there.
Could be.
Criterion is not how many people can acquire wealth by exploiting the less fortunate, but how a society treats its weakest members and how widely power is shared within that society.
You telling me you turned down a chance to get rich?
I'm telling you that insatiable greed should not be the supreme qualification for public office. When avarice...
This is a first.
Somebody gave it to Tess. She didn't want it.
You're such a romantic, Dickie.
It's second nature.
Let me get you a beer.
A rapacious herd of weasels.
Hey, buddy. It wasn't Ronald Reagan's fault.
I would be inclined to agree with you, sir. It's difficult to assign blame to someone whose neural pathways have calcified.
Are you calling him stupid?
8 long years, I saw no evidence that would lead me to conclude otherwise.
Well, if he's stupid, then I'm stupid for voting for him.
That would seem to be the inescapable inference.
Get up, you pansy. Come on, get up. I'll teach you to call me stupid.
Good shot. Guess you're not a Republican, huh?
Al, are you okay?
Yeah. Not bad for a professor.
I'll have another scotch, and get Detective Grondike a refill, too, on me.
How about a cup of coffee instead?
Hey, if we wanted coffee, we'd order coffee. Isn't that right, Detective Grondike?
Yeah. Mind your own business for once, Cobb.
Not again, Mother Dickie.
They're both plastered.
Look around you. This is a bar. My bar. And I'll cut them off when it's time.
Acted alone.
As you've heard, Your Honor, the defendant, Chris Lorky, has demonstrated a continuing lack of respect for the juvenile justice system through his escalating violence to persons and property. It is the people's position that this case cries out for adult adjudication.
Mr. Glass?
Your Honor, the defendant's prior record consists of misdemeanors. And you've heard Dr. Blackburn testify that the prospects for rehabilitation are good as long as Mr. Lorky remains in the juvenile system. Defense asks that you deny the prosecution's motion.
Thank you, Counselor. I will take this matter under advisement. You will be notified when I reach a decision.
Cutting it a little close, aren't you?
Have they called for the case?
No.
Then what's the problem? I'll be filing for a continuance. I'm sure Judge Hoffman will grant it.
I just want to get it over with.
I'll ignore that. In the meantime, I have found you a job. You start this afternoon.
Brackish and Gould, they're shysters. They advertise on television, for God's sake.
So does Burger King. You'll be doing legal research. The pay is not what you're used to, but it does beat flipping meat patties for minimum wage, which is about the best that you can hope for, given your current situation.
Thanks.
I've arranged with them to get 50% of your paycheck till my fee is paid.
People versus Kaufman. Well, there's this one boy who's a possibility. But Lorky wouldn't let me talk with him, and anyway, I don't have a lever to use on him. I can't help you there. I have no idea what kind of defense Glass is planning for you.
Burke, the little hedgehog, is trying to crucify me.
I can't talk about it, Bruce.
Couldn't you have warned me? Couldn't you at least have told me he's planning on treating me like Al Capone?
Bruce, come on. She said you can't talk about it. You're a lawyer. You know the rules. He's gone.
He'll never be gone.
Yeah, well, X's aren't always as X as they should be. Yeah. I ran into my ex-wife yesterday. Yeah, a long time. Not since the divorce.
Tess Kaufman?
You open it.
No card.
Who's doing this?
Maybe it's Sean trying to make nice. Or Bruce wants you to spy on Darren Burke for him.
I don't like it.
Any luck, Kaufman?
There are lots of precedents. My favorite is cited in Hampton versus North Carolina. The judge said, "A drunken man is as much entitled to a safe street as a sober one, and much more in need of it." The only differences are that your client was tanked on drugs instead of alcohol, and that he was riding a bicycle instead of walking.
Yes, but alcohol's a legal substance.
But I'm sure you can find a doctor who will say he prescribed diet pills for your client.
I like the way your mind works, Kaufman. Keep it up.
I like this job, Mr. Gould. Diet pills.
You know, Joe, you're in the mood for a real dinner. There's a steakhouse around the corner. But then
We also got Hungarian, Cuban, Mexican, Italian, all within walking distance. You all right?
Oh, yeah, I must be allergic. Oh, you've got a great place here, Dickie.
Thanks. Sit down. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. I need help deciding between Italian and Cuban.
Just flowers, Tess. What's to hate?
It's creepy.
Did you ask Sean and Bruce if it was them?
Yes, it wasn't.
So, you have a secret admirer. I think that's kind of nice. You want me to check with the florist?
Yes.
As soon as I get time, okay? Tess Kaufman's office. Yeah, she'll be right there. Judge Anderson has made her decision.
Based on the evidence presented, and after consideration of the arguments from both sides, I have decided that the defendant, Chris Lorky, is to be adjudicated as an adult.
Someday soon, I gotta find the time to eat lunch somewhere else.
Tuna melt's not bad.
You want to trade, Ben?
No.
Miss Kaufman, I've been assigned the Lorky case.
That was quick.
Well, it's high profile, incendiary. Everybody wants to move fast. The arraignment is this afternoon. I'd like to see you and defense counsel in my chambers beforehand, say 1:30.
Yes, sir.
Good.
You're right. Not bad.
Judge Booth will be back in a minute. Would you like some coffee?
No, thank you.
Mr. Glass is not here?
No.
And if he's not here, I shouldn't be here either.
Well, he probably got tied up. We'll give him a few minutes, shall we? We can talk about something other than the case.
This is an interesting case, Mr. Gould. I can't find an absolute precedent. You'll be making new law with this one.
When Maggie Zombro approached me about giving you a job, she didn't tell me you were under indictment.
I'll be acquitted. It's not a problem.
You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, Kaufman. I'll pay you for the days you worked.
I need this job, Mr. Gould.
I don't hire people who don't know how to stay out of trouble.
You know something? You're nothing but a hypocritical ambulance chaser. The Bar Association has enough client complaints in your file to paper this room. The only difference between you and me is that you haven't been caught yet.
The difference between me and you, Kaufman, is that I have sense enough not to leave footprints a blind man could follow. Put that book on the shelf before you go.
is now in session. The Honorable Anthony Booth presiding.
Bailiff, collect those signs. There will be no further outbursts, silent or verbal. Counselor, are you ready to proceed?
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes, Miss Kaufman.
Your Honor, I'd like the clerk to record that approximately 1:10 p.m. today I received a message to report to Chambers. The defense counsel was not present, and the meeting was terminated without any discussion relating to this case.
The clerk is so ordered. Counselor, if I summon you, I expect you to be here, even if you have to interrupt your golf game or an important lunch date.
I received no summons, Your Honor.
Perhaps if you were reachable, you might receive your messages more promptly.
At 1:10, I was in my office, Judge Booth.
All right. Communications mix-up. No harm, no foul. Mr. Glass, do you have a copy of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor. And the defense waives reading thereof.
Read the charge. Read the charge.
Read it! Bailiff, remove that man.
We will not tolerate this. Never again. Slaughter of Jews. Come on. Never again. Never again. Never again.
The next person that feels compelled to comment on the proceedings in this courtroom will be held in contempt. Ms. Kaufman.
Your Honor, I request the opportunity to arraign on the record.
Will the defendant please rise? Proceed with the arraignment, Ms. Kaufman.
The defendant, Chris Lorky, is hereby charged with murder in the first degree.
Do you understand the charge, Mr. Lorky?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
So entered.
Glass, you traitor! You traitor! You don't deserve to be a Jew. Nazi lover, that's what you are! You're worse than the Nazis! You kill your own kind!
Just out of curiosity, Mr. Glass, how does a Jew represent a Nazi and still live with himself?
Being Jewish means having respect for the law. I have a moral duty to give the best possible defense to everyone I represent, even if that person is charged with killing a Jew. Can I answer your question?
No. Why do you think the defense didn't ask for delays and extensions? Carl Lorky's decision? You really think so? Maybe. He can milk it for all it's worth. Another martyred victim of the international Jewish conspiracy.
I just wanted to congratulate you on getting the adult adjudication.
Thank you.
Not that it was exactly difficult given the nature of the case, but hey, you did it. Some of us, we get harder cases. Like thieving lawyers who know how to bob and weave. Hey.
You're an orphan, aren't you?
Excuse me?
I figured they put you in your mother's arms right after you were born. And she took one look at you and then committed suicide. Go peddle your slime somewhere else.
You haven't said 3 words since you picked me up.
I've been trying to think how to say something.
You already told me you're not interested in me. What could be hard after that?
Why did you go see Tess?
I wanted to see what she was like.
I don't think you should have.
One of those, it's none of my business things.
Well, yeah.
Hi, what can I get you two?
A double scotch, neat.
Gentlemen.
Okay, and you?
We've got a brand new band for you tonight. So put your hands together and give them a warm JR's welcome, will you? Let's hear it.
Well, darling, didn't mean me no harm. You know she loved me all night long. But she's gone, baby, gone. Well, little darling, the dress of red. You know that skirt went to my head. But she's gone, gone.
Yeah, Detective Cobb, Metro Police. No, there is not a problem. We just need to know who sent the flowers. Tess Kaufman? Yes, thank you. I'll hold. You didn't get one today, did you?
The day's not over yet.
You're sure? Okay, thank you very much. The order's paid for in cash, and no one remembers who sent them. You want me to go home with you?
No, it's okay. Got a date?
Not exactly. I'm seeing my ex-wife tonight. She seems depressed. I don't collect wounded birds. I was just trying to help.
It's broken.
Miss Kaufman! Miss Kaufman! I'm glad that I caught you. I stopped by your office to tell you Judge Booth left some papers on his desk for you. I think he wanted you to have them tonight.
You know?
Are they heavy?
I shouldn't think so.
I see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
It's hard to find a way to talk to you alone.
Friday is a night for quality drama on NBC as Matlock faces the mob. Then, on the critically acclaimed I'll Fly Away, dirty politics jeopardize Forrest's career while Lily risks everything to fight for the right to vote. And on an all-new Nightmare Cafe, a woman looks for a second chance in a potentially deadly marital dispute.